Shuna versus Rance was not on my bingo card for the year. I'm sorry. I was not expecting Tensura to just pull Rance out of nowhere and pin him up against Shuna. I'm sorry. Guy looked like Rance. I mean, I'm assuming the character designer or something like that. They knew what they were doing. They knew it. The haircut is slightly different, but it looks like him. The armor's slightly different colors, but it's the same layout. It's him. I'm sorry, it's him. Doesn't act like him, of course. I was a little bit disappointed by that guy. I think overall, how this entire council thing concluded was a bit disappointing. Like, I was expecting more chaos. There was a bit of chaos in here, like especially with the attempt on the prince's life. I think that was a big rug pull. But I think overall, I kind of was hoping for something that really kind of shook Rimuru up. Like, I want him to get shook up. Something crazy happens that he doesn't really expect. Something that really kind of throws him off, really surprises us. But it just felt like everything kind of played out in sequence. Like, oh, this thing's presented. Oh, here's the remedy. Here's this thing. Oh, snap my finger. Here's this thing. I had that feeling at some point, like, I get this every now and then with situations like this where you have, like, a bunch of people being posed in a situation. I get this, like, mental image of, like, people being lined up outside. Like, you have the prince and his guards are all, like, ready outside the door. Okay, time to enter. The door's open. We're here. And the prince comes walking in. And, like, behind him that was in the hallway is the king. The king's standing behind that group going, when's my turn? Okay, let me step up at the door, and it's like a queue. It's a queue. Like, outside the door, there's a queue for people to walk in the door. And then there's the Ingrasia Magitech Inquisitors or whatever. Those guys walk in the door the next. It's something like that. I got a kick out of it. I just had a mental laugh at some point about that whole situation. I think the other big surprise this episode was Glenda. I completely forgot about Glenda. I think somebody mentioned to me when the whole situation came up last week with them Maribel talking about, like, having all these things pre-planned. At some point, there was a shot with, like, Johan and the prince, and then in the background, there was somebody with a gun. And I completely forgot about Glenda. I was, of course, hinting at the idea of, no, it's not Hinata, it can't be Hinata, it's not Yuki, who else looks like that? I completely couldn't think of who that was. And somebody mentioned, oh, I think it's the girl that was, up against Diablo at some point. Sure enough, in this episode, she confirmed it. She's like, I should have expected more, or I shouldn't have underestimated the master of that demon. I'm like, oh, there's a confirmation. Yeah, it is Glenda. I completely forgot about her. That whole sequence where Diablo went to them on the battlefield and she throws one knife and then bolts for it. Like, she completely dipped on her partner because they had, like, the 3 battle sages was there, and she was with one other one. And that guy kept fighting Diablo, but she completely dipped, which is surprising this episode. I figured based on that whole thing, you would think that she would have dipped here too. Like, nope. Just, okay, shot. I still sense his presence. Nope. Get out of there. Dip. Get out of there. She must be under the control of Maribel. That's why she's being so reckless or trying to focus so much on completing the task, is because Maribel told her to do it or something like that. That's my assumption there, but I don't know. Her against Soe, and the only thing I can think of here is unless Soe completely doesn't understand what he's up against and gets shot, just not knowing what it is. But I think at this point, Rimuru has sort of explained everything to them, what the guns are, and show them. So in knowing what it does, in seeing how it kind of nearly hit the prince, the bullet itself, he's seen how it works. He's been told by Rimuru where it comes from. The assumption is this thing in her hand is going to cause that effect. Okay, be aware how fast this thing moves. I don't think he's going to have too much of a problem with her, but it's kind of more surprising that she didn't get out of there. My assumption is because of how it showed how she's such a coward before, that she might get captured by Soe and just blurt everything to Rimuru. I can see her being totally somebody that's just going to blurt it all out. And it could be because you're going to have Hinata involved, because I would assume that she's still a part of Lobilius. I don't know. The question mark is how Lobilius doesn't know about what she's doing. Because my assumption was that she was part of, like, the head of that group of the knights. And to have her just walking around doing stuff for Maribel, you'd think that she's being told to do this. But she could be there on a job or something. Anyways, I'm getting too stuck in the weeds at this point. It's just curious how this is going to all play out. And I'm thinking it's going to be a thing where she gets captured. Potentially, Rimuru gets Hinata involved. And she's going to blurt everything out. Yeah, it's this Maribel chick. She did it all. And then at that point, Rimuru is going to go see Maribel. And then we'll see probably at that point what this thing that Yuki got, if Yuki's going to get involved with that, or if it's just going to be Maribel versus Rimuru. We'll see, but interesting little layout here. But Anyway, episode 78. I should actually get into the episode proper. Let's kick things off from the very beginning, having the whole sequence where, yes, they lay out exactly what I was kind of predicting. They were going to present these proposals that's just going to basically lay it out as Tempest is basically going to be their slaves. Let's just lay it out there. I mean, he says at the end, we're basically enslaved by you. That's the end goal in it, is the idea that everything they're going to do is going to be up to them. They have to pay for everything for the magic train, and they're going to reap all the benefits. They're going to, have to facilitate all these weapons, and they're going to have to pay for it all, give all the labor. And oh yeah, by the way, you're going to have to pay membership too. The membership part's the worst part, because at that point it's like, okay, I understand everything up to that point. It's really kind of getting to establish dominance. You're going to be our slaves. You're going to be below us. You're going to do everything we tell you to do. And yes, it's all based on this, they said that it wasn't necessarily a mind control. It was mental interference that was making their judgment and their mentalities be very narrow. It's not that they're being told what to say. It's saying that they want to focus on something. Rather than you think or consider the idea of something else, you're only focusing on this one thing. So it's a very interesting kind of way of putting that, and it sort of does give credit to the idea of Rimuru being able to break it. It implies that Maribel hasn't fully controlled everything there, which I think it's a good thing. I think it is a good thing to establish that, yeah, there's a side of it that's a little bit disappointing because it makes Maribel out to be kind of weak, but it also does establish, when they talked about Maribel's power, that she doesn't have full control of everybody immediately. That in a lot of people, she has to sort of kind of build them into it, and then eventually they'll be in full control. That in order to fully break people very quickly, you break their consciousness. And she doesn't want to do that. She wants to slowly develop them into being able to control them rather than breaking them. So it implies that a lot of these people she's been working on, but they're not fully developed into being fully controlled by her. Like somebody like Yuki. Yuki is implied to be somebody that is fully in control at this point. So we'll see. Which again, that's what pisses off Rimuru. We're basically your slaves. Did you guys forget that I'm a demon lord? Are you guys dumb? I like that a lot of these people at that point when it breaks, they're like, what the hell is this proposal? You guys are nuts. Why are we even agreeing to this? Yeah, he's right. This is stupid. We want them to be our allies. We don't want to control them. Why are we even proposing this idea? But yeah, after Rimuru just snaps his finger and fixes everything, we have Prince Elric walks in. Yes, again, the queue opens up. The prince is here. The king is here. It's time for the prince to queue up. He goes into the door with his little entourage. We have Rance over here, who's an exceptional mercenary. We have Vert mercenary party over here, which, yes, has Team Green Fury in it. And then we have Reiner. Pretty much an entire band of useless idiots. This is one of those moments where, yeah, when the prince walks in there, again, we established that later on that this is all something that was proposed to the prince and that he was tricked into doing this whole thing. But it's like this moment of like, who are these people anyways? Like, Reiner, the strongest man in Gracia? I doubt it. Like, is this literally the strongest person you have? I don't think that's going to be the case. I think there's probably much more stronger people there. Like, who are these individuals? Like, what is this band of uselesses that we've never seen before and we're probably never going to see again? Now, there is a question mark here. There's one individual that's a question mark here, honestly, because yes, Guy was a weak person, useless. Reiner, weak, useless. The guy with Vert is the only question mark that I have. Yes, Team Green Fury was seen as being very exceptional, but it was due to like her knowledge. The one that was leading them, because she was smart, they did a really good job. They were not breaking the rules, they were subverting the rules. She was getting around the rules. The guy that they kept focusing on, the one that was able to see the bullet, that's the one. I'm curious if that individual will end up being strong. He ended up being, or at least it implied that Vert was only there to escort the prince. And now that they were there, he's like, I'm done. Like, he was literally there for show. Like, after he got there, he's like, Prince, I got you here. We're going now. Like, they implied that he wasn't going to get involved whatsoever. So he wasn't going to, jump into fight or anything. But again, it showed that later on, when the bullet comes in there, only he and Hinata seen it. Obviously Rimuru as well, because he stopped it, but only Hinata and this leader or this guy was able to see it. So I'm thinking the guy from the mercenary band, he might actually be pretty strong. So I'll be curious if they eventually, they're assuming they're going to eventually show him. They showed his face, it was very unique. So I'm assuming he's going to be a key figure of the story at some point, but I'd be curious how strong he is. Anyways, we have them pull up a vote if they're going to actually take them down or not, but they end up not winning the vote, even though they bribed everybody. The prince briefly brings up the Orb of Domination, which Revenue pretty much laughs at. Isn't that thing that Milim faked that she was being controlled by? Yeah, it's probably not going to have any effect on your revenue. Yeah, it's not going to have any effect on your revenue. But yes, when we have the fight, first Reina versus Hinata. Here's an interesting thing here. Yeah, again, had no doubt this was going to be a really one-sided fight. Sure enough, she basically flips him over, slams him down on the ground. Interesting part here, though, is the fact that the moment he looks up to Hinata, she said, get up, whatever, you're supposed to be the strongest person in Grazia. He sees an aura, and he panics and starts groveling to her. That aura looked a lot like a Demon Lord aura. I'm wondering if she was projecting an aura of a Demon Lord. And this makes sense because you have individuals like Diablo and whatnot, whenever he would exude this aura, this killing aura, which I think is actually an ability, people panic and grovel and run away. I wonder if she was activating a passive there that was literally making him terrified of her. And that could be something that was given to her by Luminous. I think that's something from Luminous. I don't know. I don't know if they've ever implied Hinata having an aura like that before, that she's activated. Anyways, yes, that's when we have the fight between Rance and Shuna. That was, again, another one, dumb one. It implies here, obviously, that Shuna has been training under Hakuro to be more in martial arts, so she's not just a mage. She's not just an assistant. Sure enough, really cool. Love seeing her in action. Shuna's like my third favorite, girl of the entire series. It's like Luminous, Milim, and then Shuna. But yeah, she was awesome seeing her fight. And yeah, at the very end there, just nuking the dude with disintegration out of nowhere. Sorry, I'm still working on it. Again, showing her using holy magic, which is really cool. So anyways, after everybody's defeated, I do like a little bit here afterwards with Elric, and yeah, the fact that he does get the assassination attempt on him. Rimuru again stops the bullet. Only Hinata and the guy from Vert notice it. Them all acknowledging here that it was obviously an attempt to make it look like Rimuru had killed the prince, and that would cause a big problem. It is interesting here that at this point, and with especially the king coming in there, Johan's lost. Like, there's at some point, Johan's like, wait, this wasn't agreed upon. Wait, what is going on here? Wait, I didn't know this was supposed to be a part of it. Was this what Maribel had planned? It's implying one of two things. Either she wanted Johan to be out of the loop and thus, him work on his own way and make it more believable and not be able to tip the hand a little bit too much at some point. Or she doesn't trust him. There's a chance that Maribel just doesn't trust Johan. That because she doesn't control him enough, that she's afraid that he's too much of a coward and that he's going to give off or at least admit what's happened. She knows that she can't control him fully and that he could rat her out. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that there's a bit here where he's not in the loop for a reason. But going back there, I do like the little message here that Rimuru has for the prince. Like, yeah, you screwed up. He even tells the king later on, I'm going to forgive him, but it's only going to happen this time. Remedy just lets bygones be bygones. Like, yeah, I'm a pacifist generally. Yeah, I'm not a mean person. We're all cool, whatever. But yeah, you're not probably going to be king in the future. if Ingrazia knows they're doing, they wouldn't let somebody like you be king. So don't have to worry about being, a target in the future. This whole plan's failed. They don't have a reason to kill you at this point. And they're not going to make you be king. So yeah, look for something else. Like, look into your future. Once you've realized the wrong's your way, just kind of reassess yourself. Pick what you really want to do with your life, because you're probably not going to be king. I do like that. Again, the prince is like, oh, this guy's really cool. So I think this is definitely going to be a character that comes up in the future. Kind of a similar situation as like Masayuki and stuff like that. Characters that are like not very like big antagonist characters. They're just kind of a circumstances antagonist, and then they very quickly shift. He'll probably be a key figure in the future. I mean, I wouldn't put it past the writer to kind of make this being an opening to the prince being in the future king. Like, through circumstances, the prince is going to right his wrongs. He's going to become a great person that will eventually do something really good. And then he can become king that will support Rimuru in the future. But I mean, we already have a king right now. Aegil comes in here and he's again, it just happens to be outside the door. Again, everybody just is queuing up behind the door, just walks in the door. Hey, I'm here too. The king's here. I mean, this isn't Grazia, so it's his kingdom. So he's going to be in the area, but he just happens to be at the council. It's a very important day, so I don't doubt he's somewhere in the building just in case. But yeah, he just walks in the door. He's like, oh, sorry for my son. Looking forward to working with you. But yeah, they did have the appearance of the Inquisitors, though. That was interesting, because they've noted this before, the fact that, again, this is not, or it was a warning to Maribel, this is not like a monolith. Like, not everybody's on board with what Rosa wants. and that Ingrazia themselves are actually, building up these magic inquisitors, and they're supposed to be really powerful. So here's our first real shot of them showing up, and it seems like Gabon is not happy. It implies these guys are going to put him through hell because he wants anything but that. He wants anything but to go off with these guys, so it implies these dudes do some nasty stuff. But yeah, that concludes the meeting. Everybody approves everything. They're going to be acknowledged as a nation. They're going to be accepted into the council, and that they're going to have military rights. So pretty much the baseline stuff. Like, there's no extra stuff here. It's just like the baseline stuff. There's no like extra notes, like all that stuff that Raphael wrote on there. No, we're gonna just agree to these 3 things and just move on. But yeah, we wrap up the episode with Soe confronting Glinda, which again, I'm kind of surprised that she didn't bolt for it. But again, I'm assuming that she's gonna get captured, brought in, and probably Hinata and Mermaid was gonna push her to open up about what's going on, and that'll lead them confronting Maribel, which I kind of assume that'll be completely outside of what Maribel was planning there. Again, a lot of this whole council meeting seems to be Maribel testing the waters. Not necessarily that Maribel wanted something to be done. It kind of implied that Maribel just wanted to see how Rimuru would act. Like, see what drives him, what is his desire. Again, she plays off of greed. And if she could see what Rimuru wants, she can exploit that greed. And my assumption, again, at the time was going to be that she's going to see that he cares about his people more than anything, and it will turn into an aspect of using the desire for peace and the desire for, some sort of equality and the protection of his people will be his greed. Whether or not you see it that way, that is a greed. That is a desire. That is a selfish desire that you want others to be, safe or whatever. It's what you want. And I think that's what she's going to sort of play off of. I just don't know if that's going to work at all. Based on the fact that, again, he was able to snap his finger and the control went away, it implies that the only way that she would get control of Rimuru is if she brute forced him right off the bat and it actually worked, but in that point it would then break him. I don't think that's going to be what's going to happen. I just highly doubt that she's going to have the power to brute force break him like that. She would either have to slowly over time mess with him by potentially acting like she wants to be an ally, or she's going to have to use whatever Yuki got, or use Yuki to fight Rimuru. And that's what I'm assuming it's going to turn into, but we'll see. Anyways, that's my thoughts on the episode. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, hit the like button down below. Until next time, y'all take care.